So today you're a model, architect, baker, and content creator. But did you ever have to deal with being put in a box?
I think even now I'm put in a box, right? So I feel like I go through phases of life, and I think people tend to remember the thing that probably was marketed the best, and they keep that in their mind, and then they associate me to that. I'm always associated to like this last campaign I did, I feel like. So I think people have that tendency of putting things into boxes. Maybe it's a good way to remember you. But no, I feel like now more than ever, I'm so confident in like breaking like, you know, each barrier that I have for myself. I obviously didn't think I could be a baker when I first finished architecture. I was practicing as an architect, and I thought that's it. That's going to be my life for the next 50 years.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I can bake. I didn't know this is a skill I have. And then I had like the whole content creating and modeling thing. And I'm just like, okay, I can do other things too.
What are your favorite ways you would say to express your creativity?
I just think any form of art truly makes me happy. It doesn't matter what it is. Like I had taken Bharatanatyam up like during pandemic, and I don't think I'm a good dancer at all. I'm pretty bad at it, I would say. But see, it was a form of expression for me because there's so much that I could learn about body language and facial expression. That it really did give me a lot of joy. And to be waking up that early on weekends, not like you were doing anything weekdays, but like to wake up on a weekend, there's like something there mentally that you have to wake up that early to do it. I think that, like, you know, recently I was doing pottery, and I just gave like the place all those things to burn because I was like, I don't really have the luggage weight to take it back. I think just any form of artistic expression makes me really happy, right? Even like all the content that I create, I mean, some are obviously like endorsements, but usually I'm the happiest when, you know, I'm given full freedom to express myself, because I think I'm very bad at expressing emotions otherwise.
Well, like often it's like hate or negativity, you know, that people get gravitated towards on social media. But what, like, how has it been? Like, I've seen some amazing, like, really kind comments as well. And like, how does that motivate you? And, you know, does it help you to like create more or move in a particular direction?
So I feel like at the beginning, I used to take it very personally. Like, you know, I used to be like, how dare the stranger write like terrible things about me? You don't even know me, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have to say, and I'll give myself credit there, within like 6 months I was over it. Because I mean, I'm like, okay, this is someone, they don't even have a profile picture. It's so easy to write things behind a screen. And most of the time I feel like it is someone who is projecting. And I also feel that they're seeking a form of validation. So if I reply to them, that's what they're actually asking for, right? The attention and validation that I can give them. And that's quite unfortunate. So I don't engage in it any way anymore.
Have there been any acts of kindness that you've seen through this journey that really sort of pushed you or motivated you to create something?
A lot of people, I don't know why, I wish they just went to a therapist instead, would send me a lot of emotional messages about like their internal turmoils. And I think, you know, I think that's why I like expressing myself online. I don't know how much of my vulnerable side I like to show emotionally, but I don't know, some days people do write to me that, you know, I mean, I've had really scary suicidal messages where people, I'm just like, okay, I can't reply to this because I don't know what will trigger them. Initially, I used to think I should reply to everything, but I mean, it gets overwhelming.
Yeah, like you could maybe just send them a number or a contact or a page.
Yeah, so I always do that now. Like I give a whole list. Like if you don't like one counselor, you have 10 more. Go for it. For the longest time, I imagined my audience to be my age group, but it's been so overwhelming to see such a young crowd when I like physically meet people. And then recently, this time in Delhi, it was such an older audience around my mother's age. or maybe like in the 50s and 40s. That was really overwhelming to see like that spectrum within like a whole month for me, because I really thought I was just catering to my age group.
When the going gets tough, what inspires you to be unapologetically yourself?
Honestly, I think when I have really bad days, I've come to the conclusion that I just need to rest. I think it's always like a hormonal situation where I'm just like overwhelmed, and I think, you know, when I lose track of like working out and eating well and all that, I think lifestyle really matters. When you're disciplined, everything kind of stays on track, even if like everything's going everywhere, like even if it's going wrong, you somehow manage it well. But I feel like, yeah, when everything gets really hard at this point, I truly believe I just need to sleep. Like, I've come to that conclusion because I've like, I don't know, I've had disastrous like days, and then I realize it's because I'm unrested. This is a very recent realization. I kept thinking, you know, no, these are my emotions. It's as strong as like, you know, it can be, all that, and then I nap and I'm okay.
Did you ever struggle with acceptance in the industry? Because India definitely, it still has a long way to go with representation and inclusivity and everything. But did you ever face any struggles here?
I think sometimes, yeah. But I truly believe the brands that I've worked with are usually very, like, you know, inclusive as a brand. It's not always going to be me, or, I mean, they actually genuinely use people of different, like, color, sizes, backgrounds. At least those are the brands I work with. I wouldn't want to work with, and I have actually faced a lot of these things where beauty brands, and not clothing, usually beauty brands have been like, talk about like, you know, accepting yourself. I'm like, no, I'm using makeup. Like, let's start there. Why am I using makeup if I accept myself? I don't. I need your concealer, and I need to tell people I need it because I have dark circles. So I like totally have an argument with clients. Like, even if it's paid, I will fight my way through, because I'm like, why do you want me to bullshit about this? You know, like it makes no sense to me. Why would I lie to my audience? It's not like people are dumb. Like, you can see through things, and I hate that about like a lot of these marketing teams, because I think they're still stuck in the past where they think the audience is just so stupid that they'll like never figure out that this is a whole, you know, fake curated thing. And I'm just like, but that's why marketing is now like not working as it used to once upon a time. It's not advertisements. You're using influencers and you're using actors. But now I feel like in India especially, like the influencers are used so much more than actors are to endorse these products.
What are your thoughts on contemporary fashion rooted in South Asian artisanship?
I think it's finally come to the point where we get to showcase our side of the world through our narrative, and it's not being stolen by a white person. I think that is the top priority for me. Sometimes I feel like it's misinterpreted by a lot of designers, but usually I think it's beautifully done. And now that people have teams, it's well researched, it's well thought out. And I think in most cases it's done beautifully. And I feel like I mean, finally we have a voice that isn't, you know, basically fetishized.
Yeah. How has your relationship with yourself evolved over the years?
So, you know, I think vanity is something finally leaving my body. All my life, I feel like it's been like a struggle. Either I wanted a nose job or I wanted to lose weight. It's always been like you want to change something about your physical attribute. I feel like once you start focusing inwards, it's a lot nicer. I feel like spiritually it feels a lot better and comforting than completely obsessing over like physical attributes. So I think my relationship with myself has definitely evolved like tremendously, and obviously it's taken me so many years. I think it's been so interesting to reflect back and see how even 6 months ago I would talk to myself very differently than I would today. But it's definitely been a journey where I finally stopped, I think, needing external validation. And I think when you let go of that, it's the most peaceful thing ever. Because I think for the longest time, I wanted like validation from my parents, and then I wanted validation from strangers. And then I was just like, it's just exhausting. Maybe I just have to be happy with myself. Maybe it's enough that my dogs love me for who I am.
Yeah, that's the best kind of love.
It really is. So you know what? That's the only validation I seek anymore. It's not like I'm genuinely saying this. This whole trip, all I cared about was people's pets loving. And to be fair, they all said, yeah, they're not that friendly. They really do like you. And I was like, yes, this is all I needed. So I get so happy and excited that, okay, this animal thinks I'm a good person. That's all that matters. And that's the hardest one, I think. Humans you can fake it with.
Yeah. Animals you can't.
Yeah, animals you really can't.
Finally, how does Āroka make you feel?
Right now, sexy. It's super comfy. It does feel really sexy.